Welcome to Top Knot Education, where you get a chapter summary of a classic novel in less time than it takes you to walk to class. Today we'll be talking about Catcher in the Rye. We're getting close to the end. This is chapter 23. Holden calls his old English teacher Mr. Antolini. Even though it's late, Antolini invites him to swing by. Holden tells us that Mr. Antolini is the one who picked up James Castle off the ground after Castle jumped to his death. This is an important detail. Remember, Holden wants to be a catcher in the rye, someone who prevents kids from suffering the same fate as Allie and James Castle. While Antolini didn't catch Castle as he fell, he did what he could by treating his body in a dignified way. Holden calls Antolini the best teacher he ever had. Before he leaves home, he and Phoebe dance together to the radio for 4 whole songs. Then she shows him how she can raise and lower her temperature at will, a handy trick for getting out of school. They're both very happy, although Holden is out of breath from dancing, a sign that he's not the little kid he's pretending to be, and that he smokes too much. Before he can leave, Holden's parents come back home. He hides under the bed. His mom smells his cigarette smoke and accuses Phoebe of smoking. Phoebe admits to smoking, mostly to protect Holden. It should be alarming considering her age, but Mrs. Caulfield has a frightening response. She says, quote, "I don't like that, Phoebe. I don't like that at all," end quote. But then, just like old Sally Hayes when Holden confessed his love, Miss Caulfield jumps to another subject, in this case to avoid doing any actual parenting. She asks Phoebe, quote, "Do you want another blanket?" end quote. For reasons of grief or just general ineffectiveness, it seems the Caulfields are not the best parents when it comes to discipline. Miss Caulfield finally leaves and Holden gets up to sneak away. Before he goes, Phoebe gives him a bunch of money which they both call her, quote, "Christmas dough," end quote. He doesn't want to take it, but he's broke and he doesn't have much choice. Hopefully you're noticing the adult-child dynamic is totally inverted pretty much throughout the entire book. Miss Caulfield doesn't bother to parent Phoebe, who she finds smoking, and now Phoebe is being a parent to her much older brother, giving him the money he needs. Holden surprises himself by beginning to cry. He doesn't know why he does it. One of the geniuses of Salinger is that in these kind of moments, the author never commits to a reason either, so we have to come up with our own conclusion. Possibilities include 1. He doesn't want to leave the comfort of the small childish bubble he's managed to create with Phoebe. 2. He feels ashamed of having to borrow his sister's money. 3. He's emotionally overwhelmed from seeing his parents and finding they still kind of suck. Or, most optimistically, 4. He's been suppressing the trauma of Allie's death, getting kicked out of school, James Castle, his recent adventures with Maurice and Luce, etc., and he finally feels safe enough to express his emotions. He cries for a long time, which scares Phoebe. To comfort her, he takes his hunting hat out of his coat and gives it to her. Depending on how you read the symbolism of the hat, this could be a big moment. At the very least, it's an adult-like act from Holden, something we've been waiting for him to do. He's taking an item that brings him comfort and giving it to someone who's scared. After that, Holden sneaks out of the apartment and back out into the night. We'll have to wait a chapter to see how his evening goes with Mr. Antolini because this is where chapter 23 ends. Now get to class.